Namaste everyone. Welcome to Advaita Vedanta Satsang House, the ongoing sessions on Bhagavad Gita offered by Bindoji, especially from the Advaita perspective, but also looking at it from the other lineage of approach. So we have finished about 17 rooms, so this is the 18th room. And tomorrow, being Friday, we're going to have the discussion session offered every week. So 4 days we have the regular sessions, and the fifth day, on Friday, we have a discussion. And just for housekeeping, I'll shut down the chat and the hand raising when Bindoji is offering the class. So please sit back and do the manana. And in about an hour, we'll open up the chat and the hand raising. Yes, over to you, Bindoji.
Thank you, Prakash. Namaste, everyone. Let me do my invocation. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsharishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lova Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashikritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti Murtiveda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Gita Dhyana Slokam. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunnandi Divyai Stavai Vedai Sangapadakrammo Panishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavastita Tadgadena Manasa Pasyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam na vidussura suragana Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha. Veda vinashinam nityam ya enam ajam avyayam Kadam sappurusha partha Kham ghatayati handikam. Whosoever knows him to be indestructible, external, unborn, and inexhaustible, how can that man slay, O Partha, or cause others to be slain? So we have been discussing this aspect of how can the doership, either as the one who is directly doing or as a prerayata or a instigator. So, yaha puna kartaham iti veti atmanam tasya mama idam kartavyam iti avasyam bhavini buddhi syad tatepekshaya saha adikriyate iti tam prati karmani sambhavati. So, Shankaracharya was explaining about the Purva Kanta or the Mimamsa part, Purva Mimamsa. So one who has been ordered to do Agnihotra, so he thinks that I am the doer of Agnihotra, and there will be the idea that it is my duty, because Agnihotram Juhyad, Ajivanantam, that till the death, every day, a Brahmin is supposed to be doing Agnihotra Yajna on there is Panchagni Yajna is there. Agnihotra is the central one. And that fire is what is used when he dies used as a lighting his fire for his cremation. So for that, he need to keep the fire burning. That is why the name Agnihotram is also come from. And they believe that by doing that and without break, if he is able to do the Agnihotram and that Agni is used for his cremation, he will be directly admitted to Surgaloka. That is what the belief is. So he feels that I am the doer and this is my duty for my emancipation of Surgaloka. So that is that. From that standpoint, he is developing a mindset and that person becomes eligible for action. But that is not the case in the case of knowledge. And which we discussed yesterday. Now he is continuing. Sa cha avidwan ubhautau na vijanitah. Iti vachanat visheshitasya cha vidushaha karma akshepa vachanascha katam sappurusha iti. Tasmad visheshitasya avikriyatma darshinaha vidushaha mumukshohscha sarva karma sannyasa eva adhikara. Now, what is the duty of a person, Vidwan, who has known that these are not my duty? Cha ubautau vijanitaha. That person is ignorant of the self because of the statement, both of them do not know the self. And also because there is a statement that how can that person kill, negating the action for a wise person, who has been distinguished by sloka number 221. Therefore, vidushaha sarva karma asambhavad. For vidusha, karma is not at all possible. And for a mumukshu, ishamana moksha pratipakshatvad cha karmana. For a mumukshu, karma are not suitable for a person who desires moksha. The wise person who knows the changeless self and who is distinctly mentioned, as well as a seeker of freedom, that is qualified mumukshu. That is sadhana chatushtaya sampanna mumukshutva. Have the eligibility, only those who have the eligibility or fitness for sarva karma sannyasa, all actions to be renounced. Now the word visheshitasya has been specified about that. That is to indicate the wise person who has been specified as the knower of Atma, to be free from the destruction, free from change, free from birth, free from decay. And that person is Visheshita. And his action is Visheshitasya. So here what is Acharya is saying is that both the Jnani and a Mumukshu, a person who is interested in attaining that Jnanam, he is a qualified person. For what? If he has Kartrutva Bhog, that I am the doer, I am even trying for achieving moksha, even that Kartrutvam should not be there. That is why he said qualified seeker. A qualified seeker is the one who has no doership feeling in him at all at any point of time. So that is why Sarva Karma Sannyasa is what Shankaracharya very famously insisting upon, for both to become a qualified seeker, and that qualified seeker, even if he has to achieve the knowledge or aparoksha anubhuti has to taken place in him, he has to abandon all actions which is where the kartrutvam is there. That's the doership. He is not talking about nitya naimittika karmas, which are all like the sustaining of the body, eating food, bathing. All those things are not, ordained by Vedas. So they don't come under the category of doable duties. The doable duties are vidhi from the Vedas, and Nishiddha, if it is done, he will be deviating from the do's also. So such a person who knows what is doable as per the Vedas, he is not undertaking anymore. The reason being is that we should be very clear here. Lot of people have got misunderstanding here. In the sense that when actions are being sarva karma sannyasa means they think that all actions, they become useless in the society. They become a parasite in the society. Because they don't do anything, thinking that they are doing the sarva karma sannyasa. Shankaracharya's definition of sarva karma sannyasa is only the vidhi, which is there in the Purva Mimamsa, where the doership is ordained. For example, Agnihotra is one, Sorgakamo, Pasukamo, Putrakama, all those things where the duties are mentioned by the Purva Mimamsa. He is talking only about that. Not about the Nitya Naimittika karmas, which is our body sustenance. And incidental actions were for the protection of the body if you have to do something. It can be even a murder. Atma Rakshartam. So that is Naimittika karma. It will come in the karma, Naimittika karma. Because the doership is not there. He is saving his life. Whereas the doership is there, where is a desire there. That I am going to achieve Swarga. Swarga kamo yajeta. Or putra kamo yajeta. All those things which are there, these are all the few. There are plenty of such things in the Purva Mimamsa or the earlier part of the Vedas. He is saying that doership with which if somebody is continuing to do, he can never abandon the doership, and as long as he has the doership for this, it will be desire driven. And because of the desire driven, he doesn't become a fit student or a qualified seeker for the jnana. Only when the mind is free from desires, which he talks in the end, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So when he is talking about that is that all the karmas which you are abandoning is Shastra ordained karmas, not about the day-to-day duties of living. So please do not get carried away when you hear such commentaries or mentioning from that. And do not be deluded that you will abandon all your actions, your duties as a householder or a brahmachari or a vanaprastha or whatever may be that, and become a parasite in the society. Do not do that. Krishna is not advising that, nor does Shankaracharya say that. To qualified seeker, to become a qualified seeker or sadhana satushtaya sampanna, a seeker qualified with all the four requirements for the knowledge, such a person should not undertake any actions ordained by the Vedas which are desire based. That is what is to be understood. Atayeva Bhagavan Narayanaha Sankhyan Vidushaha Karminaha Avidushaha Cha Pravibhajya Dve Nishte Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam Iti Grahayati. So in the third chapter, third verse, Bhagavan is saying something. So which is being quoted by Shankaracharya here. So therefore, For a wise person or a person committed to knowledge, sannyasa is appropriate, and for the person who is not yet qualified because of attachment, desires to karma and the results, karma is appropriate. Why? Because this division will bring desirable to the karma person who has got desire. As long as that desire is not satisfied in him, the karma not being done, the desire will not get satisfied. But in the process, if somebody is learning that it is due to desire, which I am getting entangled in the karma, such a person, in order to get out of that entanglement of desire, abandons actions, because actions and fruits of actions are the desire emanating things. So he is avoiding that. So Lord Narayana, having separated Sankhya for the people of knowledge and for the ignorant people karma, teaches two committed lifestyles. What are they? Jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yogina. A lifestyle in the form of jnana yoga for people who are committed to knowledge, both vidusha and mumukshu. And a lifestyle committed of karma yoga for people active in their day-to-day life with desires prompted for the achievement of the fruits of results of action. Tadacha Uttraya Aha Bhagavan Vyasa. Now he is telling, Shankaracharya is quoting, even Vyasa has told this to his son Shuka. Shuka is supposed to be is a Naistika Brahmachari. He is a, what you call, naked mendicant type of a person roaming around everywhere. He has no desires, he is like a, dead body walking around without any desires or any reactions to it. That person is what you call Shuka, but he is an extremely knowledgeable person. He has given advices to Janaka, etc. also, Parishit, and there are so many other stories that are there. So he is what Vyasa tells his son, Dva Vimau Atha Panthanau. In the Mahabharata, 241.1, where he says that now there are two paths, committed lifestyles, where this same Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga has been referred by there. Tada cha kriya pataschaiva purastad panchat sannyasat steti etameva vibhagam punaha punardarshayashyati Bhagavan atatattvavit ahangara vimudatma kartaham idi manyate. Bhagavad Gita 3:27. Tattvavittu na aham karomi iti. Tadacha sarvakarmani manasa sannyasa aste. Again, Bhagavad Gita 5:13. Ityadi. What are they? Likewise, Lord Vyasa told his son, now there are two paths, committed lifestyles. And similarly, it is said in the Vedas, firstly, there is a pursuit of activity, and afterwards, there is a renunciation of activities. The Lord will show this very same division again and again. A person ignorant of the truth is shown by the one whose mind is deluded by the ego or the sense of individuality, thinks I am the doer. Whereas a wise person is shown by in the Bhagavad Gita as the knower of the truth, knows he is not the doer of all karmas are done by the gunas of Prakriti. Having renounced all karmas, the wise person remains actionless. That being so, by the knowledge of the changeless self, a person will only have appropriatedness in renunciation of all actions. That is that what is sanyasaste. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasaste iti Bhagavad Gita. Tatra kechit pandita manye vadanti. Janmadi shadbhava vikriya rehitaha avikriyaha akarta ekaha ahamatma iti na kasyachit jnanam utpadyate. Yasmin sadi sarva karma sannyasa upadishyate iti. Now some people who consider themselves to be very wise, they are not really wise. This type of knowledge that I am a non-doer, one, changeless, who is free from the 6 modification of existence, etc., and such as birth, etc., is not born to anyone, due to which renunciation of all actions can be taught. So, Shankaracharya is including those people who are Pandita Manye. They are not really wise, but they think they are wise, and they do this statement that I am the non-doer, I am changeless, but their actions are contrary to what they are talking. Typically, we will find people talking that I am Atma, Aham Brahmasmi and all those things, but their actions will show they have nowhere near the knowledge and the abidance in knowledge. They are not abiding in their own Atma. So even to such people, this for which renunciation of all actions can be taught, as per Shankaracharya. Because they are not even in the category of mumukshu. They think they have achieved it, but they have not achieved it. It can be seen from their actions. So those people also have to be advised about sarva karma sannyasa. Tadna na jayate ityadi shastra upadesha anartakya prasangat. That is not so, because in that case, the teaching of the scripture such as the self is not born will be useless and meaningless. What is he referring to here? Tad na jayate ityadi shastropadesha anartakya prasangat. He is refuting that these people who are talking about that, Pandidam Manye. For them, if Sarva Karma Sannyasa is being mentioned, then Shastra Upadesha Anartakya Prasangat. The teaching of the Shastra will become meaningless. Where the scripture says that the self is not born, because they do not have the experience that they are not born. They keep only talking about it, and their actions are contrary to it. Yada Shastra Upadesha Samarthyat Dharma Adharma Astitva Vijnanam Kartuhuscha Dehandara Sambhava Vijnanan Utpadyate Tada Shastra Tasyeva Atmanaha Avikriyatva Agrittatva Ekatvadi Vijnanam Kasmat Na Utpadyate Iti Prashtavyate. Just as through the efficiency of scriptural instruction, the knowledge of the existence of dharma and adharma, and the knowledge of the connection with another body, that is, etc., rebirth and etc., arise in an agent. So too, from the very same scripture, why should not arise the knowledge that why selfless, changeless, non-agency and oneness and the like? This is what they, means those who are object, should be asking about. Or instead of telling that, the objection, the Sarva Karma Sannyasa is not possible, they should be asking that what? The scriptural instructions of knowledge of existence of Dharma, Adharma, and the knowledge of the connection with another body, which is the rebirth, arise in an agent from the very same scripture. Scripture is not only telling the do's and don'ts alone. The same scripture is talking about this Atma is about dharma, adharma, na jayate, mriyate, no birth, no death, etc. So why not that the same scripture should not be taken as an instruction for understanding your Atma? This is the way they should be asking instead of questioning the Sarvakarma Sannyasa. Karana agocharat idi chet. Now the opponent is asking one question. Karana agocharat idi chet. The self being inaccessible to instruments of knowledge. The knowledge of Atma is not possible. If this is the doubt, na. Manasa eva anudrishtavyam. Brihadaranya Upanishad 4:19. The Shankaracharya says it is not so, because there is a statement of Shruti. This self is to be appreciated through the mind only. Manasa eva anudrishtavyam. Anudrishtavyam is not the same as drishtavyam. Where this was explained in the Taittiriya Upanishad, Yato vacho nivartande aprapya manasa saha, where the words, names and forms do not have access. That mind, which has no otherwise depends upon the name and form. The mind is operational only when the names and forms are there and content of the mind as an object for the thought. But mind as a instrument of knowing, without words and phrasing, that is Echo Vacho Nivartande Aprapya Manasa Saha. The same mind will anudrishtavyya. That actually speaking, the translation is not possible in English. It is that it will abide in the nature of Atma. That abidance is a knowledge, not a knowledge which we are familiar with our mind. The closest example we can give is what we know about everything in deep sleep. But there is nothing in deep sleep which we know. Vishesha Vijnana Abhavat. Shankaracharya says that. And Sureshwaracharya also is saying that same thing. So when that contentless knowledge, which is as if nothing is known, but is self-shining, to say that I knew nothing. Nobody can say I knew nothing, because knowing is always related to something in our day-to-day life. We cannot think about of knowing nothingness. Nothingness, shunyata. It is not shunyata. There the nothing is, that is what Shankaracharya defines it as Vishesha Vijnana Abhava. That means contentless awareness. Vishesha means all the qualifications, which will depend upon the names and forms. So, devoid of the names and forms, the mind is apprehending the absence of the names and forms in the mind. In the mind, when I say, it is not the mind we are familiar with. There the mind and the Atma becomes one and the same. Because everything is Atma. Sarvam Brahman. So there is nothing other than Atma at that time. That is the time the otherness is lost. Idaram antaram kurde atatasya bhayam bhavati. That statement of Taittiriya Upanishad, where the the otherness is there, then we are in the transactional world. When the otherness is not there, we are in a state of bliss because there is nothing to threaten us or we need to share our anything with anything else. Neither space, time, causation, nothing is there at that time. Because all of them will come under the otherness. Because space is known by the mind, time is known by the mind, causation is known by the mind, and contents of these things are also known by the mind. But when the mind becomes contentless or without the name and form and dependencies of that, the mind becomes not a mind, amani bhava, which Gaudapada talks about in the Mandukya Karika. That amani bhava, when the mind becomes a no mind, the no mind is same as Atma. So that is what is here referred, because what he says that Shastracharya Upatesha Samadhi Samskrita Manaha Atma Darshanayan Karanam. The mind which is refined by the teachings of the scripture and the teacher, and also mental discipline, organ discipline, etc. That mind becomes an instrument of self-knowledge, Atmanubhuti or Aparokshanubhuti. That is what is that mind is capable of. Tadacha, tada adhigamaya anumane agamecha sati jnanam na utpadyate iti sahasa matra etat. Kathanam. That is, and thus when the instrument of knowledge in the form of inference, scripture, etc. is very much there, then still to say the knowledge of the self cannot be born is a thoughtless assertion of the foolhardiness of the people who says that jnanam na utpadyate. After having given all the Shastra reference and teaching by the teacher, giving the explanatory meaning of the Shastra. In spite of that, if somebody says that jnanam na utpadyate iti, if somebody is telling that, then this knowledge can never be known. Sahasa matram etat. It is only a, what you call, thoughtless assertion or foolhardiness. Jnanam cha utpadyamanam tad viparita jnanam avasyam bhadate iti abhi upagandavyam. And this should be accepted that the knowledge being born definitely destroy the ignorance, which is its opposite. Think very carefully. Shankaracharya is using such intricate means of explaining it so that we should not get confused or imaginative about anything else. What he says, jnanam cha utpadyamanam. If the knowledge being born definitely happens, tad viparita jnanam avasyam bhadate. Tad means that knowledge. Viparita jnanam. Anything contrary to the knowledge of the self is viparita jnanam. Thinking that, it is a flash of light, it is an experience of the, meditative experience, or it is something which is out of the world, the aha moment. We have told all those things. All that knowledge where you have the name and form dependency on that, it is not that knowledge. At the same time, it is evident every moment, pratibodha viditam, like a gooseberry or a marble held in an open hand. No person with eyes can miss if somebody is keeping a marble in your hand or a gooseberry in your hand. Can you say, I don't see it? It is as evident and available here and now, this very moment. That is what Shankaracharya is hell-bent upon proving it. Jnanam cha utpadyamanam tad viparita jnanam bhadyate. All the opposite knowledge other than the knowledge of Atma will be really dissipated if the true knowledge comes. Nothing happens. That knowledge is there right now. We are that. We are not able to identify that, or we are not able to know we are the Atma. But it is the Atma which is talking. Atma is which is the doing. No. Atma has no doership. It is the functions of the body with which the talking is done, the thinking is done, the breathing is done, the eating is done. Everything is at the body level which is happening. In the presence of Atma. Atma is the substratum. It is the awareness. If you don't have awareness, you will be a dead body. So what Shankaracharya says that Jnanam Utpadyamanam, the moment that Jnanam happens, all other imaginative ideas about Atma Jnanam and Atma will be badate, will be dissipated. It is destroying the ignorance. Ignorance is represented by all other knowledge other than Atma. Atma Jnana Vyatireka. If without that, all other knowledge other than Atma Jnana is ignorance, in the path of the ignorance. Tacha Ajnanam Darshitam Handa Aham Ataha Asmi iti Ubautau na Vyajanita iti Atracha Atmanana Hanana Kriyaha Kartrutvam Karmatvam Hetu Kartrutvam Cha Ajnana Kritam Darshitam. And that ignorance which is not getting destroyed at the time of when the moment of the Atma is there, it is a cloud moving and the sun shining. It is not the sun was not shining. Or in the eclipse, the sun is covered. Doesn't mean the sun was not there shining. It is shining all the time. The ignorance is prohibiting us from knowing it. And that ignorance was shown by the statement, one who considers that I am the doer, I am the one who is getting affected by the actions. Both of them do not know the self. As long as you have the doership or the enjoyership, bhokta bhogyamsha. So there, what happens is that, and here in this verse, the status of the self being the doer, the object, that is the kartrutvam and karma, and the instigator of act of killing is shown to be born of ignorance. Only a person who has no Atma Jnana will think that I am the doer and I am the enjoyer. Tacha sarva kriya swapi samanam kartrutvadehe avidya kritatvam avikriyatvad atmanaha vikriyavan ki karta atmana karma bhuta manyam prayojayati kuru iti. That status of the doership, being born out of the ignorance, is common in all actions. Because the self is changeless. And because of that, which is subject to change alone can be the doer and can be the motivator of something in one form of the object. Aham tvam karayishyami. Karayami. And different from oneself by saying, do this. Tadetat avisheshena vidushaha sarvakriyasu kartrutvam hetu kartrutvam cha pradishedhati Bhagavan Vasudevaha vidushaha karma adhikara abhava pradarsanartham Veda vinashinam katam sap purusha ityadina. Thus, for the purpose of showing the absence of fitness for action in case of wise person, by the sentences, one who knows this is indestructible, how he can kill, etc., the Lord is negating that this doership and the instigatorship of a wise person with regard to all activities without any exception. That is, a wise person with regard to all activities without any exception will not have the doership or instigatorship. Kwa punaha vidusha adhikaraha iti edaduktam purvameva jnana yogena sankhyanam iti tadacha karma sannyasa vakshati sarva karmani manasa ityadinaha. But then, where is the eligibility of the wise person? This has been already told. The people of knowledge are characterized by the Jnana Yoga. And similarly, Bhagavan will talk about renunciation of all actions by Sarva Karmani Manasa Sanyaste Sukham Vashi. So Bhagavan is talking about, Krishna is going to talk about, he has characterized the wise person by the Jnana Yoga. And he is also talking about the renunciation of that person who has the knowledge. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasa aste sukham vashi. So that word manasa sanyase, action. All actions are at the mind level. It is the mind which says, I am doer, I am enjoyer. Atma has no such claims or such authorship or doership or instigatorship. So if it is there, it is from coming out of the mind. So where will the sannyasa take place? Where the action is there, or where the idea, the doership and the authorship is there. There the renunciation has to happen. Nanu manasa iti vachanat nacha vachikanam kayikanam cha sanyasaha iti chet. Now the Purva Pakshi opponent is asking. However, because of the mentioning that by the mind, the renunciation of oral and physical actions are not to be renounced. If that is that true? So think very carefully. When manasa sanyaste, when it is being said, the Purva Pakshi is asking, so mentally he is saying that I am not doing, but orally and physically he can continue the action. Is it that what he is meant by that manasa sanyaste? Shankaracharya says, na. Sarva karmani iti visheshatvad. Krishna has said that sarva karmani manasa sanyaste. So the adjective sarva karmani includes kaika, vachika, etc. Manasa anam eva sarva karmanam iti chet. Renunciation of all mental karmas is only indicated if that is it. Now he is going the other way around. Okay, oral and sarva karmani is a thing. Now renunciation of all mental karmas, is it what he is indicating? No. Mano vyapara purvagatvat vakkaya vyaparanam mano vyapara bhave tad anupatte. Activities of speech and body are preceded by mental activity. Without mental activity, activities of speech and body are impossible. Shastriyanam vakkaya karmanam karanani manasani karmani varjayitva anyani sarva karmani manasa sanyasye iti chet. Now one more question. Leaving the mental activities for scriptural, physical and oral activities, renunciation of mental activities of the other karmas, worldly and non-spiritual, a wise person remains in the body. If this is the to be understood, if this is the way it should be understood, na. Again Shankaracharya refuses that also. Naiva kurvan na karayan. Bhagavad Gita 5.13. Iti visheshanat. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasya astev. Naiva kurvan na karayan. So there, because the specification that not doing anything at all and not instigating anyone remains in the body, which very clearly says that, because if the renunciation of all non-scriptural activities is said, then not doing anything at all, etc., will become useless. Because by renunciation by the mind itself, the non-instrumentality of speech and body is established. This is the meaning. So, very clearly he is answering one by one the doubts which are appearing in the mind of all of us. We are the Purvapakshis, because we are not understanding the statement of Krishna, and Shankaracharya is trying to explain this by putting these questions as Purvapaksha and answering them himself. Sarva karma sanyasaha ayam bhagavata ukta marishyataha na jivataha iti chet. The funniest question now. Is the renunciation of all actions mentioned by Bhagavan, Krishna, is for a wise person who is about to die and not for a living person. That is Apatkala Sannyasam. There is a statement called Apatkala Sannyasa. That is taking sannyasa just before death. You know that your hours are counted. Only few hours are left for you to leave the body. And that time, that person calls for, his sannyasa to be ordained so that he dies as a sannyasi. So that is what is being asked. Is this renunciation of all actions mentioned by Krishna for a wise person who is about to die and not for a living person? Because a living person, how will he live if he doesn't have a manasa sannyasya? Naiva kurvanna karyan. How can he neither be doer nor the prompter of action, yet living in the life? Only if he is about to die, he can take up such a attitude in his mind. So Shankaracharya again refutes it. No. Navadware pure dehi aste iti visheshana anupapatte nahi sarva karma sanyasena mritasya tad dehaha asanam sambhavati. The specification, he is refuted saying no. The specification that the wise person remains in the body would be untenable. Indeed, remaining in that body, not doing anything and not instigating anything is not possible for a wise person who dies after renunciation of all karma. Not doing anything and not instigating anything is not possible for a person who dies after renunciation of all karmas. Because after all karmas are renunciated and he died, then can he be saying that I am not doing anything nor I am instigating anything? No, that is not possible. That is what Shankaracharya says. Akurvataha akaryatahascha dehe sanyasya iti sambandaha na dehe aste iti chet. Again another question. Sarva karmani manasa sanasa navadwara pure sanyasaste dehi sugam vashi aste. That sloka is for based on what he is asking. Dehe sanyasya iti sambandaha dehe aste iti sambandaha na iti chet. He is putting this question. Having done the Vaitika karma with the knowledge, the wise person, renouncing and having placed all the karmas into the body through the mind, he remains comfortably without the body. That is, before dying, the wise person thinks that he is leaving all karmas in his body and then he dies. Then the wise person remains videha mukti. That is the next doubt which the opponent asked. Shankaracharya again says, no. Sarvatra atmanaha avikriyatvad avadharanat asana kriyayaha cha adhikarana apekshatvad sanyasasya cha tadanubhakshatvad sampurvatu nyasa shabdaha tyagartaha na nikshepartaha. Tasmad Gita Shastre Atma Jnanavataha Sanyase Eva Adhikaraha Na Karmani Iti Tatra Uparishtat Atma Jnana Prakarane Darshayishyama. So he is refusing that also. That he is abandoning that all karmas have been done by the body and I am now going to die. So he refuted that, saying that such a person cannot, how can he ask that I am not the doer or not the propagator? Everywhere in the script, Shruti and Smriti, both, because of the ascertainment of the changeless nature of the self, the actions of remaining has expectancy as locus or location. And for sannyasa, there is no expectancy of location. Sannyasa is not for the body or the mind or anything. It is sarva karma sannyasa. So, sannyasi me matab. So, when a true sannyasi, when he has done sarva karma sannyasa, he becomes a jnani abiding in Atma. So, there is no expectancy of location. The word nyasa, sannyasa, the word sam, nyasa, preceded by sam, is in the sense of giving up or renunciation, and not in the sense of placing, location. Dehe aste is the only way to interpret, not dehe sanyasya. Because sannyasa does not require any adhikarana or any substratum. Since all arguments are dismissed, therefore in the scripture called Gita, for a person who has got self-knowledge, there is ample appropriateness in renunciation only, not in action. In this manner, we will show later in various places in the Bhagavad Gita the context where the context of self-knowledge, such emphasis are being mentioned. The passage emphasizes that true renunciation, sannyasa, is connected to the understanding that the self, Atman, is unchanging and beyond physical actions. It distinguishes the spiritual renunciation from mere physical actions and highlights that those who have attained self-knowledge are fit for renunciation, not bound by karma. Okay. With that, he completed this shloka, which has been the Veda Vinashinam Nityam Ya Yenam Ajam Avyayam Kadam Sappurusha Partha Kam Khadayati Hantikam. That's, I have completed Shankli Shankaracharya's commentary in the last 2 days, yesterday and today. With this, we have come to the conclusion of this, and we will be moving to the next one, which is Vasansi Jirnani Yata Vihaya Navani Ghrannadi Naroparani Tata sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyani navani dehi. And we talk about the current topic which has been under discussion, avikriya swarupattvam of Atma, which is there in the shloka number 20 and 21. The indestructibility of the self was presented. And what is it like? We should know, no? The self was presented, and what is it like? If this is the question, the answer is given by the verse 22, which is Vasansi Jirnani Yada Vihaya, Navani Grannani Naroparani, Tata Sharirani Vihaya, Jirnani Anyani Samyati Manoparani. Just as a person having discarded old clothes gets new clothes, similarly, having discarded old bodies, the Jivatma enters into other new bodies. So, a small commentary is there. Let me finish that also today. Vasansi iti yada loke jirnani durlabhatam gatani vasansi vastrani vihaya parityajya naraha purushaha aparani anyani navani abhinavani grannati upadatte tada tadvat eva jirnani sharirani vihaya anyani navani dehi atma samyati sangachati atma purushavad avikriyaha eva ityartha. Just as in the world, after removing worn clothes out, that is after which have got wear and tear, a person takes up other new clothes. Similarly, in the very same manner, exactly like how that worn out body, after discarding worn out bodies due to sickness and age and etc., the embodied one, the one who is embodied, that is Sharirin, that word is important, that is the Jivatma. One unites or joins with other new ones. The idea is that the self is changeless alone, like the person remains the same while changing the dress. This example is not to show that there is rebirth. Please understand. This verse is only as an example that the person remains the same even when he is discarding the old cloth and taking up a new cloth. Same way, Atma is changeless. That is all. It is not to prove that the body is being thrown out and the Atma is taking up a new body. No. That is not the intent of the verse. The intent of the verse is only to show that changelessness when things of this nature is happening. Same way, Atma is changeless, whatever may be the modifications you are thinking. In the same body, Sharirin, that is why, in the body, from Kaumaram, Yavvanam, Jara, all those statements before which we studied, that has to be thought about when explaining this verse. So it is not to show the case of birth and rebirth. That has to be kept in mind, because a lot of people use this verse to prove that Hinduism is talking about rebirth. At least Shankaracharya doesn't. Advaita doesn't believe in it. Okay? Then how is it changeless? When this question arises, Lord Krishna answers this in the following, which is, Nainam chindandi shastrani, nainam dehati pavakaha, nachainam klebeyantapo, na shoshayati marutaha. This is a very long commentary, which we will take on Monday. Okay? The verse number 23. I'll stop it here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you. Dhanyavada.
Thank you very much, Bindoji. I've opened the chat and the hand raising also will open right away. It's open. Okay. So if you have any questions, please come up. Just a reminder, tomorrow is a follow-up discussion where you can bring up topics related to Bhagavad Gita, which Bindoji has been offering his perspective. And over to Srinivas.
Thank you, Prakashji. Namaste, Bindoji.
Sri.
First of all, I have to admit I didn't expect that this commentary will be at such depth. It was so beautiful, Bindoji. And yesterday's session was like, it felt like a tribute to Gaudapada Karika. I was listening and I was only remembering Gaudapada got inspiration from Gita this way. And today's session is like, it's completely, especially this Karma Sannyasa concept is such a, I love that concept. So, two great concepts yesterday and today. It was fantastic. Thank you. I think your treatment, I think I heard some other explanation earlier, sometime, maybe 1 year ago or something, but I couldn't recognize that this was such a, important or very, these two concepts, especially of the non-doership of the Atma and how the karma, the Nitya Naimittika and Kamya Karma. So, I think the way you treated it is awesome actually. Thank you. So, really beautiful. Maybe tomorrow we can discuss more. I'll think of something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Srini. Namaste, Preeti.
Namaste, Bindoji. Actually, I listened to this particular topic, state of nothingness and renunciation of karma. There is also a question that I have is related to we should not be tied to inaction also the same way we are not tied to action. So what it means in the Gita that I'm reading says is that the same way a person thinks that he deserves the action of deserves the fruits of karma, he must not be so lazy or he must not think all his duties are done, that he must love inaction also. So how do we balance this both? Because sometimes I think my switch is mostly on and off. If I'm doing karma or if I'm doing some duties, then I feel like I'm the doer, because I'm say, like you were saying, we are not yet to die. We are all doing work. So we do think we are doers. And sometimes we do think that when I say I feel like I'm the one doing the action. Of course, there is God. But then how do we balance this state between action and inaction, where I feel not all my duties are done, I should also do my duties, but also I should think that I'm not the doer. How do we balance this?
Krishna is explaining this very beautifully in the 3rd and the 4th chapters. One place where he says, Na kaschit kshanam api jatu tishtatya karma krite. Not even for an iota of a second we can remain as idle. And at the same time, he is saying that in the, another place, like once you have the knowledge that you are neither the doer nor the instigator, for you, it will be like the night for others, it will be day for you, and the day for others will be night for you. Which shows that you are neither in the inaction activity side if you look at it, but at the same, the actions which you are doing will appear to others it will as an action, but from your point of view, you are neither acting nor doing anything, because you are not the body anymore identifying with that. You are identifying yourself as the Atma. So our Atma is now, I replace the word Atma with awareness or consciousness. When you are the awareness or the consciousness, can there be any doership in the awareness or instigatorship in the awareness? You are just being aware of all the things that is happening. The body is functioning. The body includes the mind, intellect, and the physical body. So that you are no more identifying. See, the problem is that when we are even telling that we should not be identifying with the physical body, mental body, intellectual body. Technically speaking, to remain aloof from the body is something which can never be achieved unless you have removed all your ignorance from your understanding, which is in the form of Ajnana Samshaya Viparya. It can be ignorance or it can be samshaya, doubt. How is it possible? Because I need my mind to function. And then you say the viparya. You think that you are the physical body, mental body, intellectual body, or the whatever may be your identification as. Only when you know that you are neither the waker nor the dreamer nor the deep sleeper, they are all just experiences of awareness happening in awareness. I am just only the witness of it. That Sakshi Bhuta. That when you have that attitude that you are the witness, as the awareness as the witness, not as the individual. There is no ego there. There is no identity of the individuality there. That is the only one which can, really speaking, it is the waking man's story, what is the name and the form and the physicality of the world. The sat has been left and went to dream. The waking was forgotten. The dream, and it became a dreamer in the dream world. That also he abandons, goes to deep sleep. But the deep sleep, he is not knowing anything. But that is the story when he tells, when he wakes up, that I knew nothing. But what he was in deep sleep, he can never tell. Because there is no way he can communicate there. There was only one there, that Advitiyam. That is a non-dual Atma was there alone. But nobody can say that what is that experience. Because it is beyond experience. Because we know experience as something which is, there is a content for an experience. As there should be some object in it. Either as imagination, feelings, thoughts or physical objects. Other than that, we cannot think about an experience. But here is an experience which has no content. Therefore, when we wake up, we say, I knew nothing. Because we are so used to something all the time, we do not know how to accept an experience, contentless experience, as I knew nothing. Because nothing, as which I was explaining, and knowing nothing is not possible. But being alone without a second is possible. There you don't experience. You cannot. That is Atmashraya dosha. One the statement which is that you cannot climb on your own shoulder. Like that, you are alone there. So you cannot experience yourself. You cannot see anything other than yourself. You cannot speak anything other than that. You are all. You become everything. So that attitude is what Krishna is building up, starting with the karma. How to do karma, how to do karma sannyasa, yoga, and then mental purification before he comes to kshetra jnayo jnanam. And all those things which will be there toward the end of it. But the whole thing what is required in a capsule is given in the second chapter, which is very difficult to digest because it's pure Advaita. If you go through the Shankaracharya's Bhashya. That is why we will never be able to answer the questions which are related to third chapter and fourth chapter, which is dealing with karma and karma sannyasa, by the verses in the second chapter. No. We will come to the introduction of that in the second chapter. But that methodology will come in the third and fourth chapter. That is the place where inaction is decried and action has to be without expectation for the fruits of action. Karmanye adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadajana ma karma phala durgu mate sangastva karmani. All those statements will come in the third chapter onwards. So there we will get the answers for your question.
you, Binduji.
Thank you, Preeti.
Any follow-up questions from the audience or from the people on the stage?
Okay.
All right, Binduji.
So tomorrow we'll discuss in detail.
Certainly. Yeah. Thanks everyone for coming. And tomorrow, same time, 8:30 IST, we'll have a open discussion on Bhagavad Gita. And Sunday, we'll have the just Advaita open discussion. Thank you very much, Bindoji. Hari Om.
Thank you, Prakash, Srini, Preeti, and all of you there. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Hari Om. Good night.